And gentlemen, let's see whether FlyQuest are going to be able to use this blue side to their advantage. Already, the Pigeon going to be taking away the Orianna as well. So in our previous series, that was the first mid lane matchup, and that one's now gone.
Now that Sion has risen so much in priority, I'm curious as to whether or not G2 will look to ban it away, because we know FlyQuest is happy to prioritize it, but we also know that things like Trundle, and we've seen Kled, Mordekaiser being used as answers into it. So whether or not Fly is happy to let it go through so that G2 can take it for themselves, I wonder where it will fall on the ban table.
Yeah, it definitely depends on pick order there for sure, as you're going over, especially if Trundle is up, but not even going to be a discussion point in this match because G2 red side opting to ban it. I think that is going to become a lot more prevalent, red side opting to ban the Sion instead, until we see some people really prove otherwise. You know, the Ambessa counter pick hasn't quite been as effective as people have looked into. The Trundle, though, of course, still is a very big one.
Whoa.
Yeah, Cap showing the LeBlanc. This is one of the things that you know, we were talking about leading up to this series was going to be some of the things that Caps can use to put pressure on Quad, because Quad is a very predictable champion pool, especially with Orianna and Azir taken out. You know, he really does like to almost always sit Quad on these control mages that are all very, very similar, and so they don't want any of these like LeBlanc plus, you know, kill oriented jungle pressure lanes.
Yep. Just have to see what is going to be locked in first, because we're not trusting that Kaiser hover just yet. Fun fact though, pro players have a 51.2% win rate on their birthday. And it's Busio's birthday today.
I like that. Any extra odds in our favor? That's slightly above average. Let's go.
I like to think because it's a 52% fan vote prediction for G2 in their favor, this pushes it back to completely even. I can't do math, so that does help.
Well, the Wukong is definitely something that FlyQuest have put a lot of effort into. They've used it over and over. Very comfortable style for them because they like to have Inspired really focusing on the farm, being very efficient. And so they invest.
They locked it.
Yeah, they're going to steal away the Bard. This is a good strategy against FlyQuest in Fearless mode because then Busio is not going to be able to obviously use it later on. This is just a best of 3, so it's not super long Fearless, but it's still Fearless for the rest of it.
But it's an interesting approach for sure, because very rarely do we see teams deliberately prioritizing champions that what they know could be a threat in the series. We've seen Labrov's Bard before, but to first pick it is quite a surprise from G2. This is a very different look, and for SkewMond, he is that, I mean, him and Inspired are very comparable in their approaches, so for him to also pick this like heavy utility, team-orientated Maokai, while we've seen it from him before, it is a surprise to see them lock it in so early in the draft.
Yeah, and we saw a lot from them at MSI, and it still did not save them versus FlyQuest. Good thing too about Busio, he's not just a Bard one trick, so they go with the Alistar instead, who has been such a huge engage support here.
And Quad hovering his favorite champion, which is, of course, the Cassiopeia. That's where he rose to notoriety, but instead we'll be locking away the far more comfortable and meta picker here in the Taliyah.
Question is, how do you round things out now for Caps? Thinking about what mid laners are available, he could... No, I mean, normally we'd see, for Caps specifically, Tristana would be something, but I don't know if it's really great in the current meta. Yone is a possibility, but again, into what FlyQuest have drafted, I question whether or not that makes a ton of sense.
Gonna make you keep guessing.
Yeah, I wonder how deep in the pool we'll have to go.
We're not guessing.
Oh, I see. The new tech, Caitlyn mid. Let's see
no,
there.
No, it's old tech, isn't it? That's season 1 tech.
We're going way back now. I mean, Caitlyn Bard lane on the bottom side, you know, into the Alistar, they are going to have priority. Is going to give some time for roams as well.
I wonder if Corki's going to make its way to the ban table. Thinking about things that can do well, Varus is another one that Hansama already brought out against BLG. Just that extra bit of range can match up. Ezreal is something that's also quite safe, and also, given we know how much Busio likes to roam, could be an option for Massu. But they're going to need something. Alternatively, they could just look for an early swap as well to just avoid the Caitlyn lane completely.
Yeah, I also like, you know, possible Ashe or something for Massu. Hawkshot, really valuable for this squad, playing against a roaming Bard. Trying to scout out some of these movements and using the Ashe Arrow for engage could be something.
Yeah,
but
they're global as well alongside the wall.
Yeah, the Poppy band though, of course, you know, you're running Alistar and Wukong. So that one's definitely pretty straightforward.
About Cassante flying top as well. We'll have to wait and see what direction Bwipo will go on that top side, as G2 seem to be focusing AD carries, but instead they're going to get rid of the Rumble.
Trees don't like fire.
Yeah, I guess they want to limit the amount of backline threat that Hans Summer's going to be put under. I feel like G2's prepared something for us.
Honestly, that's not really a big deal for Bwipo either. Like, Bwipo does not care about that.
I was going to say, Rumble was not going to be a contested pick for me in this series.
One last ban to come through from FlyQuest. We'll see what they are going to be taking away here, whether it is going to be still just aiming towards that top side. Brookblade's champion pool is relatively wide, but still going to be taking away the Renekton. Things that are blind pickable, they do want to remove to make sure that it's Caps that is going to be giving away his option there in that mid lane. Of course, already quad with his champion locked in, so it's not necessarily the most important, as that's a Graves.
That would be very interesting.
I think they're just hovering it, surely.
Surely they're just hovering it. The time has been out for a long time, and it is finally going to be switched over to Victor. Love the brief little delay there to make sure that we're as baited as possible.
I love too. This just like, oh, they hovered it for a long time. Everyone starts theory crafting. All right, is this going to be a Graves lane like later?
I just had like Canna flashbacks of like Graves top that meta, like a million years ago.
Yeah.
And by a million I mean 4. It still feels like a long time.
I feel like Ambessa could be a pretty strong top lane option right now, along with the Cassante. That looks like Bwipo's going for the more defensive approach. And that's going to be locked in. So now we're looking around now with an AD carry. We talked about a bunch of options. Vayne, I think, would, strictly speaking, be quite bad.
Yes.
Into Caitlyn, yeah. That would definitely be painful. But Vayne, then you could do it in the solo lane, you know.
True,
and you could
like swap, you're right.
Force the top lane AD carry swap extended. But
Corki, Zeri, Ashe, I think are all very solid options. Corki, very safe, a lot of mobility, long range poke. Ties in nicely with the Taliyah, and it's looking like a very well-rounded, straightforward comp from FlyQuest.
Yeah, I think the key that you kind of hit on there was the mobility for Corki. Okay. You're facing the Bard and the Maokai, so definitely want that extra dash.
Final pick will be that Rek'Sai locked in instantly by Broken Blade. Not going to be delaying any of the choices here as we've come to the very end of the draft. So, gentlemen, who's feeling the best out of this one? I'm looking at FlyQuest. I'm seeing so much CC and options here, but the range and scaling from G2 is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, G2 have drafted a very traditional front-to-back composition. I think that given they have push on the bot side of the map, but I say that, I don't even know if there's even much options to use that prio. Don't be surprised to see G2 set up a split map early on, go for an early invade, try to push Inspired out of its jungle, but I have to imagine Inspired will read this as well. And I think the biggest thing is how much backline access will Inspired have alongside the Cassante, because if you can take out Hans Summer, a lot of the damage is going to disappear, and this Cassante won't die if there's no Caitlyn to melt through it.
And this is a very fun statistical game as well, gentlemen, because SkewMond, 24-6, known very much for his Maokai, 80% win rate. Inspired 16-4 on Wukong, also 80% win rate. A battle in the jungle of the 80%, and Massu is 9-0 on Corki, his career. So, I mean, that could be going down, or he could be 10-0 and getting there at Worlds. That would be absurd.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a comp that FlyQuest are very, very, very comfortable on. And I don't think that G2 threw out any surprises in game number 1. So I do have to feel confident from the FlyQuest side that the fact that they know their enemy quite well at this point too for G2. I guess the Bard is a little bit of a wrinkle, and we'll see how well Labrov can play the Bard in this game versus Busio versus FlyQuest, and see if we can actually have that improvement from Labrov, from SkewMond here to make this different from MSI.
All right, here we are, though, ladies and gentlemen. We're onto the Rift for game number 1 of this EU versus NA battle. FlyQuest, I think, probably feeling pretty good about this draft, but I think the same thing is going to be the case on the G2 side. So this is exactly what we wanted. Even footing, moving into game number 1. And let's see where the shenanigans will arise.
I guess I'm just a little surprised by how scaling-orientated G2 have gone. Traditionally, I expect them to have a little bit more skirmishing power, at least given how they've recently been playing in Summer. So to see them lean more towards this, as Hans Summer has matched the swap on the top side of the map. So now that Caitlyn versus Corki is going to happen whether Massu wants to or not.
All right, and as we can see here, it was what we were talking about. It's like season 1, but it's just in the top lane instead of mid.
Yep.
We've nailed it.
Both of them up here matching the AD carry swap. So Caitlyn with the long auto attack range and trying to use brush there for the headshots. See about the push on bottom side though as well. So G2 getting the push on bottom side as well as the push on top side with their Caitlyn.
Knockups, knockbacks, all sorts of things happening here towards this bottom side. If you were to adjudicate these 2v2s, how are we feeling?
I think Broken Blade and Labrov should have the push simply because Labrov is the only one with a ranged attack.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
He just gets to kind of hit you while you don't get to hit him. I think that once a couple levels come under the control, I don't know what I'm saying. Once they get more levels, it'll be better. More levels, good for FlyQuest bot lane.
Love it.
Alistar not known for his level 1 prowess at all. 2v1.
Level 2 looking all right, though, as we can see. Bit of a pushback, but we don't want to watch that. Don't want to watch that because Labrov going for an early roam. Does get the meep slap, it doesn't land the cosmic binding, so quad is going to be okay.
I accidentally said Busio is starting to move. That's how I'm so much used to seeing his
Busio's moving too!
Yeah, he is moving. Look at him go. As we get the flash away here, as Broken Blade getting himself out of there. It's not his turret that's there in this 2v1, and so does have to use the flash to avoid being headbutted to death.
So Busio moved less distance than Labrov, but it was more effective because he got a flash.
Very true. An early ward is utilized though. The pings have come down onto Busio as he looks for a bit of a roam. Oh, I say a ward. There is no ward. They're just reading the play very well. He's covering around this mid lane.
Yeah.
Making sure the quad gets through it safely, and it looks like he's going to do just that.
So Massu with the early back on the Corki to get the tier purchase from the push from Caitlyn. And Hansama, the Caitlyn doing really well up there in the answered one-on-one swap. So Massu is going to be in a lot of pain. This wave is pushing away from him, pretty low on the CS count overall. And even though he went back to get a purchase, it's just a tier. That's not combat power for him.
Not going to quite be helping, but it does help the scaling. Trying to get to that 2-item spike as quickly as possible. Bit of a 2v1 here, but it looks like Broken Blade is going to be feeling just fine as Caps is just eradicating the waves over and over again. And I'm feeling like if this game remains pretty slow, G2 are probably going to be pretty happy with it. Right now, Labrov moving towards his top side. Massu going to have to get out of there. Valkyrie employed nicely. Some more Bwipo here towards the bottom side of the map.
So just a small jungle thing is that Inspired did a full clear, got the Scuttle Crab on the top side, went back to base and is now picking up his Krugs. However, for SkewMond, he started on his Wolves. He doesn't have the same wave clear speed as the Wukong does, but what he does do is once he grabs the bot crab, he immediately goes back to the respawned Wolves already. So he's actually on pace in terms of jungle clear. He just hasn't had an opportunity to go back to base yet, which I imagine he's now going to do, impressively keeping up with the Wukong early clear.
Yeah, so just a clean re-clear for Inspired. He'll end up towards this top side. And again, the top side is kind of the success story so far for G2 with the Caitlyn prowess in the 1v1. And we'll see if Massu can recover here because stacking up his tier, but is going to be pretty low if they do have that early skirmish up there. Of course, the Wukong is going to need another scuttle after the re-clear to try and get to the level 6.
Yep, Turtle Port meant that we had to wait a really long time for that seismic shove as flash out from Labrov. Didn't want to get pulverized there. So he's now going to be putting that one on cooldown. A couple of flashes have been employed here on G2's side, but no real capitalization just yet here from FlyQuest. And they are falling just further and further behind in farm just naturally as this game goes on. As BB having fun with these tunnels, moves back towards the bottom side once again.
It's a very stock standard slow early game as Caps finds some nice trades in mids. Both top laners continue to trade HP back and forth, but as you rightly said, really a lot of this gold advantage going the way of Hansama.
Yeah.
And once Caps catches this wave in mid, it should equalize the gold in the mid lane matchup as well.
You know what they say, Atlas, your network is your net worth. It's usually a business term. But for Rek'Sai, it's also true because that allows you to escape ganks. So you pre-make your network of tunnels to allow for outplays for later. You know, it's an investment.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. I actually hadn't heard that analogy before.
Yeah.
Well, BB currently has like 1 tunnel. So we're going to need to increase
His
that
network is not that big
But like,
yet.
does like more tunnels equal more tunnels? You know, is it exponential?
It is about quality of tunnel too. Yeah, so
okay.
you know, going
Absolutely.
inside of the
All
dragon
tunnels
pit.
aren't born equal. Is that sort of how it works?
Yeah, quite. Okay. Let's see. Top side here. This has been pain for me to watch. And it looks like it's going to continue to be pain.
Yeah, Busio is like, I don't want to take this, but I will. And does. And still, they are looking a little worse for wear. Headbutt Pulverize here, as Busio does go in. But it's like, when it happened, I was like, I don't know whether this ends well for them, but there weren't too many other options. As Caps and Quad just still hitting red dots. That's a really nice Pre-Seeker. Probably utilized his passive for
This
that.
could be a dragon start for G2. It's a little slow without your AD carry there, but given that they know Bwipo's just gone back to base, with the push that they've been able to garner in mid lane, as I say that, the bounce back has come through now. It's Quad that moves into the river. Broken Blade needs to be careful.
Yeah, he's just sort of taking a beating here by Bwipo, but there's those tunnels. That one probably not going to stick around, and oh no, tunnel removed.
I mean, what you'll notice Broken Blade do a lot is actually just move into that Tri-Brush to see if the Tremor Sense will pick up anyone roaming towards the bot side of the map, also keeping his eye on the Dragon in case Inspired tries to start that one off, but it's been a very timid start for both junglers. As nice knockback.
Yeah, Quad finding the angle, the double pulverize, but there's not very many people here to follow up outside of just Quad himself, so it is just going to be Caps taking a fair bit of damage and then slinking away.
Yeah, looks like FlyQuest at least going to start up these grubs. Labrov and SkewMond want to head over. Caps actually had to go get honey fruit though, so Caps is going to be a bit delayed getting to the grub fight, and you see Victor trying to clean up those minions by mid-tower, so that gives enough time there, enough priority for FlyQuest to grab at least the 2. They want the final grub for the might.
Yep, they should be able to get it here as well, as in they go. Magical Journey does get Labrov out of there. But that was just G2 watching as all of the grubs fell down, and Fly then just gets back away. Still behind in gold, but those grubs going to really help.
Just a really nice awareness from Inspired, recognizing, oh, hang on, my mid laner has a health advantage. He's just chunked out enemy mid. We should have prio over this topside river. Corki can collapse first. And so an uncontested objective just from smart play there from the FlyQuest jungler.
And, you know, props to Quad for actually hitting that seismic shove and achieving the health difference.
Absolutely.
It's like, yeah, Inspired, good job. You recognized that your mid laner made a good play.
Gap in it, bro.
Quad with a big double seismic shove for the big chunk there. So, you know, nicely done. And we have had a really calm early start.
Yeah, this is kind of what I'm used to. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I'm feeling more and more at home as this game is going on. So I like it a lot. We call this the Bro and Brew. That's the state of this game.
In the middle of all that, Caps also got his first upgrade, which I imagine is that laser, which you now see on screen. The amount of wave clear that this Victor's going to have just exponentially increased, and now you expect Caps to pretty consistently be the first one to get that push in the 1v1 matchup. Once he gets full levels in that E and a little bit more itemization, he's going to absolutely melt those waves. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Broken Blade finds himself in a 2 versus 1, but I think G2 sights are very much set on this dragon.
Yeah, and both these teams pretty confident in their ability to team fight. Interesting little kind of deep invade here, though. Labrov linking around the other side, so they have really good vision, super deep wards for G2 through the red quadrant of FlyQuest jungle. And as you saw, they push Inspired away from his Raptors, so yoink those on the way to their dragon.
Oh, there's a stat that we need to find as well. What's the latest first blood in World's history? Ooh. We need to get that one. I don't have that one.
That's a good request.
That is a stat that I hope we don't beat in this game.
I'm thinking it makes it more interesting if there's no kills for the entirety of the game.
I love the reset that we just saw from Labrov as the dragon was being started, because he was aware that, oh, FlyQuest would look for a cross map here, so he wanted to be in position to try and protect Broken Blade in the event that a dive came through. Caps, though, taking a bit of damage, but the minions kind of doing the same in response to Quad. But really good awareness from both supports overall in this game. They've been roaming very effectively, covering where it makes sense. Right now, Busio is just hovering around mid in the event that Caps overstays so that he can threaten a dive with Inspired over the wall. But TP going to come back through from Caps as he completes his first item.
And it's like everything's even. You know, I guess it's just grubs. So there's grub advantage for FlyQuest. But
one dragon
that is going to be,
G2.
yeah, so that evens it out, the dragon. But that means that also you've got, like, feats of strength is completely even. And so it's all just tied up.
They each have 1 foot.
Oh, yeah, true. That's what it is. They've got a foot of strength. It's all right. It's not very far, isn't it? I don't know how long a foot is. I do the meters thing. That's fine. I'm sure it's about the same size as a foot. Never mind. Quad. Let's see where the gravity field is going to work. The Arcane Storm doing a fair bit at the same time. But the Seismic Shove also lands. Death Ray comes in. The flash and First Blood is a Cap solo kill that's immediately answered here as Busio pushes him back underneath the turret. But man, we had no action and then a solo kill.
Yeah, I mean, Quad just kind of stands in there. He wants to commit to the play because Busio is coming, but Cap says, fine, I will flash in. I will make sure I get the kill before dying. Now, the FlyQuest one is assisted as far as the kill, so you get that extra 50%, money for the team, but the focused gold does go into Caps. He did have to spend his flash though, Vedius, so how are you feeling about like repeat plays there?
Oh, I mean, I think there's ample opportunity for FlyQuest, especially with the Wukong and the Alistar by your side. Caps, though, playing with confidence as he finds a solo kill in mid. In terms of the goal, it's not going to change that dramatically in the mid lane matchup, so I don't think Quad is too upset about what took place, but the fact that Caps is able to finish those upgraded boots means that he's now going to be a little bit ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I think that because Busio has Hex Flash on Alistar, as well as Spellbook, he's still going to have some mobility. He might need it.
Yeah, he is ghosting, so that's going to move him pretty quickly, but does just get into position here. Twisted Advance does come on down, but it's SkewMond that does get pulverized. Another brilliant flick from Quad to pull SkewMond back, and in the meantime, Caps, oh, that flash is gone, and Inspired will take him out because of it. Now Quad looking for that angle once again, and they have corralled them underneath this turret, but it looks like FlyQuest, they're just happy to get that one pick and then set themselves up elsewhere. They'll have inside track with mid lane, for example.
Yeah, we got an instant answer on our question. Is the flash going to get punished? Yes, it is. Inspired immediately jumping on that, punishing that cooldown here for Flash, getting the kill. Wukong with Trinity Force, Vedius. It's the exact right time to go looking for a victor wandering through the jungle. And
he doesn't see them because they're stood still.
Oh, the flash pulverize going to come on through. Another headbutt back here. Even the Valkyrie damage is helping out. Trample going to come on through, but he does have part of that network set. And the flash forward does need to come in, but it's not enough. The little bullet from the Corki couldn't do it. And out goes BB once again.
Rek'Sai so obnoxious to lock down as Labrov throws the ultimate mids.
Yeah, Tempered Fate comes on down there as Hansama gets on in. Didn't quite have the snap trap, but he just flashes over the Seismic Shove and will be able to get the last hit onto Quad. So Hansama going to even things up once again, as in this top lane, Bwipo taking some damage from Caps.
Okay, so the gloves are coming off now from both sides. They're getting a little bit more warmed up on stage. Items are coming through, and they're looking to punish where they can. Mid lane has clearly been the focus from both sides, but Hansama picking up that kill will build him up to a huge lead of 1K over Massu.
And last time, Vedius, I was like, oh yeah, Quad, he just took his death and it was good, because Caps flashed and Quad didn't. But that one, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah, got a bit of a flash forward here from Bwipo, who's going all out onto Caps, has Inspired alongside him, and down goes the victor once again.
A fantastic punish comes through from Bwipo. Again, Caps had no real way to get out of that situation given he had no flash available. The gravity field also just doing nothing to Bwipo as he used his ultimate to get away from that. And with Inspired at his back, it's an easy pickup as FlyQuest get that feats of strength of 3 kills.
And the point I was about to make there, about Quad, he should have flashed the Bard ulti. Like, Caitlyn is there, and Caitlyn's going to be able to follow up with the trap, so really nicely done from G2. But Quad that time holding a little bit too long on that flash. Maybe it will still be useful for a play imminently as they teleport up topside, and Busio is seen by the ward.
Yeah, this time BB just going to be able to make his way out, but saving the turret, that's a big deal. As FlyQuest, if they're able to get that first turret, that will be feats of strength locked in. At the moment we are locked down as far as the objective feats of strength are concerned, so another 2 going to be required from either team.
I mean, if you are a G2 fan right now, you're looking at Bwipo and being like, that's kind of scary. If you're a FlyQuest fan, you're looking at Hansama and you're going, that's kind of scary. But admittedly, I don't think that she quite has the tools to get through what already feels like a very tanky Cassante, even though it's G2 that's first to this objective.
Trinity Forces are pretty good, aren't they, when they're built? As you can see, Hansama getting the brunt of that. Massu does have that first spike complete. I'm also looking at Inspired. I think he's pretty scary as well.
Absolutely. Double Trinity Force spike is a big one.
Yeah, redeeming Massu here. Does get the heal. Almost walks out a little bit early, but isn't going to.
Probably should trade the Dragon, yeah, for Rift Herald here for FlyQuest, because it is on a Caitlyn recall timer. Hans had a decent amount of money to spend. Full BF sword there back for him, so good value there for him. 2 dragons stacked up by G2, but again, the top side objectives, the Grubs and the Rift Herald, are the ones that turn into early game gold. And so FlyQuest here, if they can use this Rift Herald, knock down one of these outer towers, really does set them up for a lot of wait a seconds. Could they do it early here? They've got an Alistar as well, so Caps has to be a little bit careful. FlyQuest have been targeting him fairly successfully.
All right, right now Labrov just using as much information as he can. I think Busio is unseen for the moment, but does just walk out of that brush. So now Quad on that gravity field, but his Caps just up here. Does get the flick back, very nicely done. 50% of his health bar goes missing. Quad able to really handle the pressure here on this top side, and he needs to, because this is very, very close to first Turret Blood going down in favor of G2.
We'll say, Bwipo is building an even greater lead over Broken Blade. Getting that kill with the assistance of Inspired was a nice pick for sure, but on the side lane, I feel like that he just spent more time in lane, allowing him to build almost a full level advantage over his opposition as G2 set their sights on the tower.
Yeah, Nature's Grasp does come down as Caps is getting pushed out of the fight. Ace in the Hole comes on through here as well, but looks like G2 decide against going for anything more. Net over the wall will get Hans Sama to safety, and the Rift Herald going to then try and turn the tables as far as this push. And this could actually just be feats of strength right here as Shelly decides that she wants to give them over to FlyQuest, and that will come on through as soon as we deal with these minions. No real defense here by G2 going to get set up, and there she blows.
Tower achieved, as you say, the feats as well as the extra gold here. Soaked up by everybody, and Busio as well as Massu kind of helping Inspired usher that Rift Herald up to make sure there's no counterplay there from G2 to put a stop to it.
Inspired now building a 1.4k gold lead of his own. Just been passively building up this farm, securing towers, and you can really see that gold advantage just slowly continuing to mount for FlyQuest. Obviously, the tension still feels very high because we're yet to see that first fight and how things will really play out in the 5v5. Both teams have really just been trading objectives, but Arakan alive in 1 minute and 5. Along with the Dragon in 2 minutes' time, you expect these to be the next major objectives that both these teams will turn their attention to.
And honestly, I would expect Labrov to go for an ultimate on Quad pretty early, ahead of time, if you can get that flash out from the Taliyah, or if you can even just make a play on him straight up. You know, the Bard has a lot of options at trying to make some plays preemptively before the Dragon. It's 1 minute and 40 seconds here on the clock for that one.
Yeah, there's 35 seconds on the Arakan as well. He's going to be spawning towards that bottom side of the map, so does mean that that Dragon's even more dangerous because you can just follow it up immediately if you are able to win a fight prior to or after that Dragon being taken. So it could be a battlefield here in this game, because there hasn't been much of a battlefield so far. There's 5 kills all up, but it's a lot of posturing as Labrov able to walk out of the way of the wall. Seismic Shove does go wide as Hans Sama not quite able to get the net for the slow, but otherwise is able to get out of dodge. Still, Summoner Spell's now on cooldown, and that flash being down for the Caitlyn is a big deal as Labrov in the back of this pit does just get flicked back, and I thought he was just going to magical journey out, but he doesn't.
Yeah, where are you going, buddy? Busio sits him down, and Bwipo trying to sit Broken Blade down, but the flash is enough.
That's beautiful play-by-play there, Kobe. That's what we actually had some feedback after the last series. We're like, we should probably have 2 play-by-plays because there's too much action. And see, we managed to utilize it here in this particular moment as G2 able to eat the pressure towards the top side as well.
I mean, it feels as though FlyQuest is just getting these very small advantages that are turning into bigger ones, as, for example, on the bottom side of the map, Bwipo getting the flash out from Broken Blade, and on the top side, Quad getting the flash out from Hans. And that ultimately led to Labrov thinking, oh, I can still stick around, my magical journey should be off cooldown any minute now, but then he gets punished by Busio. A really quick flash to set up for the play gives FlyQuest another kill. 4-2 now, the advantage. 2k the gold lead, Dragon spawning in 9 seconds, and look at the TPs. G2 have a clear game plan in mind, and that is to force a fight around this objective.
And Hans is very close to item number 2 as well. It's going to be Infinity Edge. As far as 2 item spikes, it's probably the best that you can get for the Caitlyn. He's not quite there yet, but still, G2 have so much control of this area. Nature's Grasp for holding on to control as well is so incredibly good. Hex Splash going to get channeled here as Busio looking for an angle towards Caps, perhaps, as he gets taken down so incredibly low. Unbreakable Will comes in, and now you've got Bwipo trying to make the difference, but Tempered Fate to hold them in position. Hansama in so much trouble, and he does get taken down. Inspired to grab first blood in the fight. Busio is going to be the answering kill, and Broken Blade takes down Busio as well. It's FlyQuest that can actually answer back as Caps trying to do some of the damage, but doesn't quite manage to do so. And it's a big win here for FlyQuest.
Yeah, huge engage there. Busio threatens around the top side. Inspired just goes straight in through the Dragon Pit. Look at Inspired go straight onto Hansama. They put so much pressure on this Caitlyn. Busio's threatening around the outside, but there goes the flash. Inspired is in. He ults and then clones away from the gravity field to stay on the Caitlyn.
And I just love the target focus because Bwipo is right there with him as Busio sets his sights onto Caps, trying to mitigate the other damage dealer from doing what he can. And as we mentioned in draft, once the Caitlyn is gone, the front line really doesn't have that much to worry about. So Caps is forced to disengage, and FlyQuest find a beautiful fight. And crucially, they take away that Dragon Soul point from G2.
Yeah, after Inspired was able to finish off the Caitlyn, he then had a Q come up, and he just Q smited the Dragon right in front of SkewMond to yoink that objective as well. So FlyQuest, this is something they're so well known for in North America. You know, give up the first couple of dragons, invest all of your money into this third dragon fight, and they really pulled that one off quite well to bring the game under their control.
Yep, and Hansama didn't have the Infinity Edge for that last fight, right? We hit like the perfect two-item spike that we talk about for Corki all the time. Muramana was in there, Massu was able to stay alive, keep doing that DPS, and him and Quad have been able to do a lot. Quad especially, man, this guy has looked so good in this game on this Taliyah thus far, and 2 items have now been completed as the Leandries is now done as well. They'll grab themselves another turret, and they are starting to really roll this snowball down the hill.
Yeah, I like that you're going, wait a second, this one's just for fun.
Bit of an exciting one here, as we do get a bit of a stun onto SkewMond, but he gets himself out. That's a headshot. That's a lot of damage onto Massu. Does need to be a little bit careful. The Infinity Edge is done.
I like that you're, you know, really complimenting Quad there, though, because he's been so aggressive with all these seismic shove chunks, has opened up a lot of, like, small opportunities for FlyQuest so far, and he's able to finish off that mid tower. So that's all 3 outer towers down now for G2. They have no longer any outer defenses, and FlyQuest immediately pulled the trigger on the Otacon.
Yeah, there is a ward still here, though, for G2, so they know the size of this health bar. As you can see, Bwipo just trying to stand in front of them.
He's
to
far.
keep them out of this one, as my goodness, he's so incredibly tanky at the same time. Is G2 going to have to deal with him first? The wall goes down just to try and keep him alive. There's a Pulverize as well as Broken Blade. Gets himself out of there. Now the Nature's Grasp does fly past. But the Otacon will just turn its sights onto G2 this time, down to about 4K as FlyQuest possibly out of this. There's a flash forward from Busio, but I don't know about it. The flick back, though, is gorgeous, and SkewMond put in position, but unable to get the smite. That one's going to go to Inspired. As the gravity field goes down, the Arcane Storm doing nothing. Massu going to take down Caps, who cannot get it done. Now Broken Blade buying some space. They only lose one, but Otacon, such a big deal.
FlyQuest play with such patience. Quad with a fantastic ultimate to start that fight off because it isolates Broken Blade. It looked like Bwipo was the one that was caught out of position. He was so far up the river without the support of his team, but then Quad's ulti completely changed that dynamic. And the reason why it's important is because it forces the ulti out from Labrov. So here you're thinking, wow, Bwipo, you're way too deep, but look on the left. A beautiful ultimate comes through. Then Labrov reactively uses his ultimate, but to no effect. Now the Maokai ultimate is gone. Labrov's ultimate is gone, and it makes it easy for Fly for the re-engage.
And then it still comes down to a clutch smite fight right here. You know, Maokai gets knocked in, tries to go for the Q smite, but Inspired clutches out the smite on the Otacon to get that one, and it is huge. Then Caps just gets jumped on. Massu valks forward, and since Bwipo teleported in, Bwipo's back to help him out.
I mean, just great patience being demonstrated by FlyQuest as now Broken Blade in a lot of danger.
Or is he? I mean, this is the Rek'Sai situation, right? It always looks like he's in danger, and then I do that play-by-play thing where it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna die, and then he never does. Well, let's see whether he does here. See, that thing. You know, let's see whether he, no, it just doesn't happen, as he is just eating a whole lot of pressure in this game.
I gotta be honest, Vedius, it's looking a lot like MSI to me.
I mean, right now, yeah, we haven't really seen any proactivity from G2, and again, one of the big question marks for this team is seeing SkewMond and Labrov work together. But when SkewMond is on a champion like Maokai, well, he has been playing it extensively throughout the year. In summer, that's really not been their motif. Things like the Wukong, the Xin Zhao, the Pantheon, things that he can have a lot of agency in playmaking to try and play through mid, work with Labrov is what we've been seeing a lot more of. But it feels like that they've taken a much more passive approach, and while their laners have been doing pretty well, FlyQuest have just found way more punishes. They punished Caps a lot in a side lane. They got Hans Summer's flash out from him ahead of a major fight, and just the timings and punishes from FlyQuest have been fantastic.
And the desk was talking about it, right? It was the fact that Inspired has been a little bit quiet this Worlds. Well, I'm looking at this game, I'm feeling like Inspired's been pretty loud. 3-0-2 currently on the Wukong, as Bwipo just constantly keeping G2 at bay. Standing in front, he's a bouncer this game, and that is going to mean that we've evened out the Drakes between the two squads. A quad stack Chemtech Soul would be a lot of healing and shielding power.
It certainly would. Busio is ghosting again.
Oh dear.
To Hex Flash over. Do they actually make a catch here, though? That's pretty far. Yeah.
It's a dangerous one. Bwipo not going to be getting over the wall. They just clear out vision, and it's all going to be fine. But FlyQuest have not been giving up space. They've been playing slowly, but they've been just constantly encroaching on G2. It's like creep spread or something like that, to use a StarCraft reference.
And something that FlyQuest are just so ultimately confident in is always their team fighting ability and choosing the correct timers here. And they have just out-executed in these fights over and over again. It's not quite a blowout or anything, but they do feel very much in control.
Absolutely, and what was a massive advantage between the two AD carries in favor of Ansama now has shriveled into nothing. The item advantage is in favor of Massu. He has the gold advantage, he has the experience advantage, and you can understand why throughout his career he is 9-0 on the champion, and he's looking to make it 10. As right now, FlyQuest holds on to a 4.9k gold lead here in Game 1.
This Baron certainly looking like something that could try and get a blowout as far as that gold advantage is concerned, put themselves into a winning position. But G2, we mentioned it already, right? Like, if this composition can just stick around, right? Then it does have a lot of options later on in the game. Like, you get to max items on a Caitlyn, she has so much range, it's really, really hard to get to her, and she does so much damage, but they have to get there. As Ace in the Hole comes through, Bwipo ignores it, and it bounces off him, or something like that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I think so far, the problem for G2 is that, yeah, you know, you've got Caitlyn and Victor range for later, but FlyQuest engagers are supremely confident. Inspired and Busio are the best players on the team and constantly will look for these super hard engages really quick. So it's like, they have to have really good like Maokai and Bard ultimates in order to navigate that team fight.
And they were picked together, right? Like, this was part of that Wombo combo that you're trying to set up. We haven't quite seen it just yet.
It's a really important purchase for Hansama there. The LDR are going to help get through some of the resistances that Bwipo is going to be bringing, but a level 16 Cassante.
I feel like even items, though, between Corki and Caitlyn, you're still feeling like Corki's fine. I think 4 items, you're like, I'm starting to be very scared of this Caitlyn. So a bit more time for G2, maybe.
So frontline-wise, I just think that Bwipo is a lot scarier than what Broken Blade brings. You should start winning out on these trades against Bwipo, though, as you can start to see.
Well, getting a bit aggressive, doesn't land that Q3. SkewMond is taking his time with this blue buff. Does look like Bwipo isn't too worried about it, though. Man, there's such a wet noodle fight, isn't it?
They are
between
farming
these two?
the damage stat right
now. Yeah, this is just, it's just grass.
Let's pump those numbers up.
Yeah. And look, they did get a bunch of stacks, so nicely done there, guys. But not really too much going to come of it. So I think, like, maybe as nothing happens, it's G2 favored, but it's still feeling like the game is very much in control of FlyQuest, and as they get more and more vision control, the Baron becomes easier and easier. It's hard to work it out, guys.
The Baron is very scary against the Maokai, of course, especially given that at any point the the Bard can completely change the dynamic of the fight, whether that be maybe hitting onto your backline so that no longer you have any damage threats, or even if it's just hitting the Baron to stall and now you're just trapped in the pit waiting for this thing to wear off. FlyQuest are respecting that objective wisely, especially given that they are stacking these dragons and know that the next dragon is a minute away.
And FlyQuest are clearly like delineating every moment that have an item power spike, then we go for our fight. They got Guardian Angel now on Inspired. This completely changes how you're able to play a team fight as Wukong. You know, you can just actually turbo into the center of the enemy team, even if they are able to delay. He has a Guardian Angel to get back up, allows some really aggressive clone plays as well for Inspired. So, you know, that's a big break point. And then if that death cap does get completed by Quad, you will see FlyQuest be the ones to force the issue.
Yep, that is massive damage prepared here, and he might actually have it on this back right now. And it's a Taliyah, so even if he didn't have teleport up, he would still have the ability to wall over there. And also, if he didn't have wall, he'd just go fast. It's very unfair. So he's not going to have any issues making his way back out, but does decide to use the teleport to bring him in here. So with that cool new hat, double item spikes, Kobe. Is this going to be enough for FlyQuest to look for a teamfight angle, because it's also soul point for both teams? Bwipo goes forward, but isn't going to be able to find too much more. Inspired, look at that flank angle as the knockup does come through there. On Busio, the explosive damage is massive. The wall comes through just to make sure that Caps cannot get in. Unsummoned, not able to find Busio, but now the Unbreakable Will is worn off. Is this just going to be soul point over to G2?
Yeah, I think they get it. You know, FlyQuest, basically Busio's out of the fight now. An Alistar low health with no ultimate doesn't get to do much at all. They just call it off. Yeah, FlyQuest, after they see that, they call off the play, and G2 win the objective with their burst damage on the Alistar.
My goodness, that headshot
This
definitely hurts.
It kind of epitomizes this game, though, because it was a team fight. No one died. One team walked away and another team got a Drake that wasn't even a soul, so it's not even really going to change the next 5 minutes. But if G2 are able to get the soul, that could be a big deal. And now FlyQuest looking for this Baron. G2 in position, though. They still have a lot of buttons up and available. It's only the ace in the hole that they really used. And so Inspired going to back away. They're not going to go for any 50-50s. It's Broken Blade in an uncomfortable position, but the seismic shove isn't going to find the mark. As they all get themselves out, there's the Nature's Grasp as G2 are actually looking for it here, but it's a clone that eats that up. One of the benefits of being Wukong into the Maokai, of course.
Such a big ultimate used when Baron is being threatened. And look at these waves. Bot is now bouncing back in favor of FlyQuest. Top is pushing in favor of FlyQuest. FlyQuest are also going to get to the mid wave first, which means that G2 have pressure really starting to build up everywhere on the map, giving FlyQuest more and more control around the objective. That control ward in the back of the pit is really the only thing that's giving G2 vision, and Inspired is going to take that one away, start the objective up once again.
Yeah, Mega Cone is going to be denied here at the same time as Bwipo just patrolling the edge of this Baron pit. They do pull off, though. As you can see, Quad's in that mid lane, and the wall is going to come down. Caps is going to be separated from the rest of the team. Ace in the hole comes in. Inspired going to eat that one for Quad to keep him in the fight. Bwipo now taking some real damage here from this Caitlyn.
All right, Caps is for sure the target here for FlyQuest. No flash on the Victor. Busio and Inspired will look to target him, and he's getting chunked as well.
These rockets really starting to hurt. As, man, this is so incredibly intense.
Look at the waves, though, again. We talked about them earlier. FlyQuest have pressure everywhere on the map. They're going to quickly go for the reset. G2 doing what they can, but finally Caps will have that opportunity to go back to base, spend what gold he can. And impressively, G2 managed to hold the line. I really thought that that was going to be the moment where they lost the whole fight, because FlyQuest was just navigating everything so well. They just barely get away with the skin of their teeth. And FlyQuest, as they should, turn their attention back towards the Baron. It's really the objective that they're going to need to close out the game. And this is the only scary part for FlyQuest. The later into the game you go, obviously the gold just matters less. And so once this Caitlyn and Victor get to 5 items, obviously, like, the fights are going to be a lot scarier for them. They need to leverage the advantage that they have right now.
Well, this could be certainly leveraged as Caps walks a little bit too far away from his turret and will just be taken out by Busio. Beautifully done.
That is the name of this game. It has been kill Caps. It's either burn his flash or repeat attack and just kill him again. Busio finds the victor, wandering through the jungle again. What can FlyQuest do with the timer?
Well, perfect position. Great sidesteps there from Broken Blade, though, to make sure that he's not knocked back there from the Natofo strikes. Inspired, though, already right on top of this Baron. SkewMond in the area, but it's going to be so difficult to stop this Baron from going down. The flash in, the headbutt back! As SkewMond's flash is now on cooldown. Redemption for a bit of extra damage at the same time as FlyQuest, they kept the Baron leashed. All of this vision getting taken away over and over again. And this Baron down to 4,000. Do they opt in for it? Because SkewMond can't get over the wall. It's going to be impossible for them to stop this, and the Baron will be taken by FlyQuest. The discipline in this game is obscene by FlyQuest.
FlyQuest, I gotta say as well, we warned you, there might be a support diff. Busio is cracked, man. This guy is just doing so much. He found the victor, he set up the play onto Caps, then he goes around, sets up another play. They get SkewMond's flash. He goes over the back of the red buff wall, and FlyQuest just claim their objective without technically winning a team fight, but just picking apart G2 beforehand.
And the craziest thing about it was he was spotted thanks to the Rek'Sai, and it looked like he was the one that was going to get caught, but he was so quick with it. He didn't hesitate. He just flashes in, targets SkewMond, and you realize that, hang on a minute, that Maokai with no flash, he's got no way into the pit. There is no risk of a 50-50. Beautifully done by FlyQuest. 30 seconds until the dragon spawns. I mean, ideally, I think that they should just abandon it and just focus on sieging. They want to get as much out of this Baron as possible.
We also need to delay Elder Drake for as much as possible as well, because we want this game to go for about 70 minutes if possible.
For G2's credit, it is hard to push on these Caitlyn trap lines, but never mind.
Flash is going forward here as the wall comes down, and Hans Sama just blows up. The inner turret is going to go down, and SkewMond is running the wrong direction. Bit of a jungle v jungle here as he gets the Teemo thumbs up. I don't think SkewMond's going to feel okay about it. Nimbus Strike comes forward. Inspired finishes him off, and I think this is the end of the game as FlyQuest will slowly but surely, methodically tear G2 apart here in game one. Busio going forward one more time. The Tempered Fate comes down for a bit of fun as the Nexus turrets, one already down, the second one to follow. Massu right in their face. The Arcane Storm not doing too much of anything. And the Nexus will now go down. Trading places here is Massu and Broken Blade, but down goes the Nexus. And it's FlyQuest up 1-0.